Okay, we have a situation where history might teach us something. And as usual, I'm out walking my ferret. So I look as I do when I walk my ferret. In 1938, in Nazi Germany, Hitler was pretty much firmly in power. However, he was not happy with this stiff-backed corps of Prussian officers who controlled the army. These guys were very independent thinkers, and that's basically, you can read about it in my friend Jörg Muth's book and in all Robert Cetino's books about how the German army valued independent thinking and initiative and invention and even contravening orders if it suited victory. And that was ingrained to them in their military academy, the Kriegsakademie. But read more about that yourself. Hitler did not like that, and he would have to fight that several times during the war. But his first step against it was in 1938. The defense minister, von Blomberg, he may not have been a fun, I can't recall, but he was named Blomberg. And this was a Prussian officer of the old school, highly decorated, pour le mérite from World War I, highly educated from the Kriegsakademie, everything. He was a classical German officer. He was also, if not a Nazi, very sympathetic to them. He liked totalitarianism. He had, in 1929, visited the Soviet Union and expressed admiration for that system and the high place the army there held. He was everything Hitler wanted, he would do up to the war, including firing everyone that had the least bit of Jewish blood in them. Pardon me, I find lots of spider webs here in the forest. Anyway, he was still an independent thinker. Hitler did not like that. He wanted total control of his armed forces, especially the army. And he wanted any potential opposition quenched. So, fortunately for Hitler, it turned out that Blomberg's second marriage was to a beautiful young woman named Erna something. And she was a former prostitute, and she had distributed nude pictures. So that, I would say, well done, old man. But that's not how the German army saw it, or the Nazis. So he was issued an ultimatum to divorce her or retire. He chose to retire, so he must have loved her, or somehow she had a grip on him. I hope it was love. So, good for them. But there was still von Fritsch. He was the chief of the army. And as even more stiff-backed Prussian and independent than Blomberg was. So, Heydrich and Himmler cooked up allegations of a lewd homosexual encounter between him and a guy named Bohemian Joe, I think. It was totally false. They found a criminal who made a living of blackmailing homosexuals in Berlin to make these allegations. And they actually found some documental evidence of it, in I think the police. But that was a guy named Alois von Fritsch, a cavalry officer, and not von Fritsch, chief of the army. But he too retired. His name was later cleared, but the damage was done, and Hitler refused to reinstate him. He became the honorary colonel of an artillery regiment, and he fell in battle in Poland in 1939. Anyway, Hitler could now disband the defense ministry and make a new, I forgot what it's called, but he made his own new sort of Nazi defense ministry. He placed von Brauchitsch in charge, and von Brauchitsch was more malleable than Blomberg and Fritsch. And then he made Oberkommandant der Wehrmacht, I can't remember, a new organization to control the armed forces. And he put Keitel in charge of that, and Keitel would later earn the nickname La Keitel, which means lackey Keitel. So that tells you how much he would resist orders from Hitler. He wouldn't. So he now had control of the military. So why is it relevant now? Well, a certain president who seems to be going fascist has replaced the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, John Brown, 4-star general of the Air Force, with Dan Cairns, I think is his name, who was actually never a real general or admiral, and who has no combat experience. He's been basically an intelligence guy. He's headed the CIA. So he's probably much more malleable than Brown was, and he's also a hedge fund manager, I think. Again, it's the kind of people that Kenneth Bonespurs like, and it's his clique. So he's replaced someone who maybe wouldn't want to invade Greenland or Panama or Canada with someone who'll do as he's told. There's the parallel. And yeah, come on, keep telling me that the US is not going fascist under Kenneth Bonespurs. Just keep telling me that. Great. Europe now stands alone, with Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Korea and Japan as defenders of democracy in the world. And we're under fucking pressure. We're surrounded by fascists. So there you go.